Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I will be setting up the month of October in my B6 Vertical Sterling Ink Common Planner. Let's go ahead and get started. It's so crazy that we've already reached the last quarter of the year, so as you can see I'm just flipping through the previous quarters. I did experiment with a couple of different ideas in terms of the quarterly page over here. However, for the right hand side, then I have been very consistent since the beginning of the year in terms of using it for a habit tracker, and that has been working very nicely for me. So I will go ahead and just set up the final quarter the exact same way with some habits. And then in terms of the quarterly priorities over here, I think what I will do is just write out a couple of priorities or goals for the remainder of the year, and then for the month of October, then I will go ahead and just set that up as a media tracker similar to how I have been doing it for the previous few months. As per usual, I'll be using this Uniball One P gel pen in the 0.38mm size. Now that it's the final quarter of the year, then I do have several priorities that I would like to take care of before the end of the year. I find that it's always such an exciting time of the year, but it also just flies by incredibly quickly, so I wanted to make sure that I had a place to write down all of the things that I want to take care of before the year ends. And because we do live in the northern part of the US, then we do have to prioritize winterizing some of our things, such as covering our rose bushes, making sure that we harvest our garden, and before the snow drops, then we would like to rake and mulch our leaves as much as possible. My husband and my anniversary is in October, so we do like to do something special for that every year. Also in October, then we do have a tradition with my brother and his family to take them to the local pumpkin patch, which has always been so much fun, and I'm really looking forward to doing that again. And then also going back to winter prep, then we do like to make sure that we just have a lot of blankets and extra clothing, shovels and scrapers loaded up in our car just in case, God forbid, we were to get stranded somewhere. I'll also need to make sure that I send out the advent calendar. My sister and I have been doing this thing every winter where we basically custom create our own advent calendars for each other, which has been so much fun, and I'm really looking forward to getting to do that again with her this year. But of course that will need to arrive there before December starts, finish up with Christmas shopping, spend holidays with the family, and then of course to set up my 2026 planner. Alright, so let's move on to the month of October here. This is where I would just set up a media tracker, which will be very simple. A pattern that I've noticed from the previous months of setting this up is that I tend to listen to a lot more music than anything else. However, the main thing that I do want to switch up this month would be to swap around the movies and TV shows categories. As you can see from previous months, then I had a larger section for TV shows. However, I noticed that for the month of September, I watched more movies than I did TV shows, which makes sense, I suppose, because I do like to try and be a completionist with the TV shows that I watch, and so I try not to consume too many different TV shows at the same time. But now that it's autumn and it's cozy season, then I've kind of been in the mood for more movies lately, so I figured that for October I would just make a larger section for that, a smaller section for TV shows, and then same thing with the books, just a smaller section for that too, just because similar to the TV shows, I don't like to consume too many of them at the same time. I like to just really take my time with them and really be present and in the moment with the current show that I'm watching or the current book that I am reading. Alright, so now that that is all set up, let's go ahead and just draw in the habits for the month of October. Now for my habits, I feel like these have been working out pretty well for me for the previous months, and so I am just going to write down the same exact ones, such as my morning routine, working out, a creative habit, reading, journaling, taking my vitamins, no spending, as well as my night routine. Okay, I just remembered one last priority that I for sure want to write down, and that is to get my braces removed. Finally, the goal is to have them off by the end of the year, so fingers crossed that actually happens, because it has definitely been such an experience and I am just very ready to finally get them taken off. Alright, so now that the quarterly pages are all set up, let's go ahead and flip over to the October calendar and finally get some decorating in. Alright, so I'll be honest, I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to tackle this month's theme. I knew that I wanted to integrate some sort of like black cat theme. In case you didn't know, I do have two adorable black cats that I love so much, and so I thought that this would be the perfect month to kind of pay like homage to them just because it is the month of Halloween. And then taking my sticker book here, I'm just opening up to this dedicated sleeve that I have for like all of my cat stickers. And I have these really beautiful black cat stickers that I got from my Virginia trip earlier this spring, and I've just been waiting for the perfect opportunity to use them in my planner. And I have used a couple of them so far in my journal, but I wanted to make sure that I saved some specifically for this month. And as you can see, they do have some very beautiful holographic or iridescent accents to some of the stickers. And then they also have this very interesting golden accent across some of the stickers as well. So I thought that I would maybe try and tie that in somehow. And because there are some of those shiny and reflective metallic stickers along with the golden accents in the cat stickers, I thought that it would be the perfect opportunity to use some of these golden foil stickers also from the brand MU. So I do have 2 sheets of those. I also have this excess sheet from one of the MU transfer sticker sets from the autumn letter one, I believe, that I thought would pair nicely just because kind of close up you can see that there are kind of like some plant silhouettes integrated into the stickers with the cats. So I thought that that could potentially tie in nicely with the stickers as well. And lastly, to add even more kind of like that golden yellow accent, then I thought that I would reach back into my washi dot stickers and just find a similar color palette to that golden yellow color and just kind of tie that into the entire theme. So I already know that this theme is going to be a little bit more picky than the previous months just because there are going to be a lot of different elements that I will be reaching for and grabbing from different sticker packs that I have. But I think that it'll just be very cohesive and work together nicely, hopefully. So yeah, I guess we'll see how it all turns out in the end. But what I'm envisioning is that it would hopefully look cohesive. So that's kind of my whole rationale behind this whole monthly theme. Alright, so I had a lot of fun putting together this monthly spread. It definitely took a lot longer than I was expecting, but it was a lot of fun just pulling in a lot of different elements to bring to life the theme that I was envisioning in my mind while I was prepping for this video. It was a lot of fun layering all of these different pieces together, starting off with some of the leaf transfer stickers and placing those down, and then layering on top the cat stickers, and then additionally adding some of these different sized dot stickers in various shades of this warm golden, kind of like peachy toned color palette as well. One thing that I do really love about these washi dot stickers is that they come in like just very slightly different colorways per sheet, and so I think that it just adds a lot of visual interest in that they're not all the same shade of color or all the same tone. Some of these stickers lean a little bit darker, a little bit warmer, others are a little cooler, lighter, more muted, and so it makes it very interesting when you layer them on top of each other and you can see that they are different tones and different shades. I also really like that they come in this larger size as well as the smaller size, and so you can just kind of mix and match the different sizes. The nice thing about these cat stickers is that they also include a couple of different elements such as like these holographic and iridescent suns and diamonds or arrows, and so it was a lot of fun placing these down. I also really enjoyed adding these beautiful gold foil transfer stickers. I thought that they just layered on top of everything very nicely and just really highlighted the different shimmery and metallic glistening elements of this theme. And now that I'm all done with the decorations, then I'm just taking that same black gel pen and writing in all of the different obligations that I have going on this month, such as bills, appointments, and events. And to finish off this page, then I am just adding my usual to-do list at the bottom. And so kind of referring back to that priorities list that I made at the beginning, just making sure that I attend the ortho appointment that I had this month, celebrating your anniversary, sending out the advent calendar that I mentioned, as well as finishing the book Midnight Sun, which I had no idea that this book even came out until this past summer when I was looking into reading the Twilight series, then I noticed that there is a 5th installment of the saga. So if you've read this book, please let me know what you think about it down below. From my understanding, it's supposed to be from Edward's perspective, and so I'm very curious to read through it and just finally wrap up the entire journey of me reading the Twilight saga for the first time. Alright, so now that I am done with the October monthly spread, let's go ahead and set up the final spread of today's video, which is the first week of October. Alright, so in terms of setting up my weekly spreads, then I'd say that it is pretty minimal for the most part. I'm just starting off by writing the to-do header on the left-hand sidebar using my Tombow Fudenosuke hard tip, and then I'm going in and writing out the bills that will be coming out this week. I'm taking my ruler and also drawing in my work schedule. Now that that's drawn in, then I'm also adding the appointment that I will be going to this week, along with some work tasks that will need to be done on the specific day. Moving on to the to-do list, then I'm just adding a few to-dos that I know of right now. At the time that I'm filming this, then it is still a couple weeks out, and so that's why when I do these setups, then it's typically pretty bare. But as I mentioned in previous videos, then once the week actually gets here, then I will for sure have a better picture of what the week entails, and therefore I can go ahead and just add in some more to-dos and specific things that need to get done that week. Moving on to the exciting part, then I'm just going in and adding some decorations to the bottom part of the spread, just because I usually find that I don't really need the space down here in terms of planning and tasks, so I typically like to just add some sort of decoration down here. I'm pretty much just taking the same stickers that I was using for the monthly setup and then just basically layering them all along the bottom part of the spread. I know that this is definitely more of an interesting and kind of abstract theme for October, but I thought that it was just kind of a nice way to combine all of these different sheets of stickers that I otherwise didn't really know how else to use or combine into other themes. So overall, I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I do really love the color scheme. It definitely still shows fall to me, and I just really love these black cat stickers as well. Here is a flip through of the spreads that I set up today. If you also include themes in your planner, then let me know what theme you're doing for October, or what you are most looking forward to this autumn season. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.